Welcome back, everyone, to English Lift. I am so happy you are here today to study with us. Today, we have a very special, thrilling, and deeply moving story for you. It is a story about friendship, big dreams, and true learning. This wonderful tale will help you improve your English listening skills and help you speak English fluently and with confidence. Please find a comfortable place, relax, and listen very carefully to the words. Let us begin our story. Our story begins inside a very large airplane. A 30-year-old man named Farhan is sitting in his seat. The airplane is on the runway and it is ready to fly up into the blue sky. Suddenly, Farhan's mobile phone rings. He answers the call and someone tells him a very shocking piece of news. This news changes everything for him. Farhan needs to get off the airplane immediately. He stands up quickly and tries to run to the flight attendant for help. But before he can say a word, he feels a sharp, terrible pain in his chest. He falls to the floor and closes his eyes. He is completely unconscious. The pilots hear about this medical emergency and they decide to turn the airplane around. They land back on the runway. The airport workers put Farhan into a wheelchair and rush him outside the plane. But as soon as they are outside, Farhan opens his eyes and smiles. He stands up and starts doing jumping jacks. He was faking a heart attack because he needed to leave the plane. He tells his worried caretaker that he feels perfectly fine, and then he runs away as fast as he can. Farhan hurries through the streets and goes directly to the home of his old friend, Raju. While he is running, Farhan calls Raju on the phone. He tells Raju that their best friend from college, a man named Rancho, is finally back in town. This news is incredibly shocking to Raju. He is so surprised that he moves like a flash of lightning. He throws a shirt on his body and runs outside into the street, holding his shoes in his hands. When the two friends meet, Farhan looks down and starts to laugh. He reminds Raju that he forgot to wear his pants. But Raju does not care about his missing pants. The missing pants are nothing compared to the great joy of seeing their long-lost friend, Rancho. They have not seen him in 10 long years. The friends get into a car and drive to their old engineering college. When they arrive, they do not find Rancho. Instead, they meet a man named Chatur. Chatur was their big rival in college. He is a very selfish, arrogant, and easily fooled man. 10 years ago, Chatur made a silly bet with Farhan, Raju, and Rancho. They promised to meet at the exact same spot on the 5th of September, 10 years in the future. They wanted to see who would be the most successful and wealthy man in life. Everyone else forgot about this foolish bet, but Chatur remembered it perfectly. He brought them all together to show off his wealth. Chatur proudly tells them that he is now the vice president of a massive company called the Rockledge Corporation, and he is a millionaire. Farhan and Raju do not care about his money or his success. They only care about finding Rancho. They explain that Rancho disappeared right after graduation and never called them again. They tried to find him for years, but they always failed. Farhan and Raju become very angry at Chatur for wasting their time, and they want to hit him. But Chatur quickly yells out that he knows where Rancho lives. He says Rancho is living in a beautiful mountain town called Shimla. Chatur wants to take them on a road trip to Shimla so he can show Rancho how rich he has become. Farhan and Raju agree to go because they want to find their friend, even if Chatur is just trying to make them feel small. As they drive towards the mountains, Farhan looks out the window and begins to remember the past. A long flashback takes us back to their very first year at the engineering college. Farhan and Raju were new students, and they shared a small, simple dorm room together. They quickly became roommates with Rancho. Back then, Farhan and Raju had many deep worries. Farhan did not want to study engineering at all. He loved animals and wanted to be a wildlife photographer, but his father forced him to study engineering. Raju, on the other hand, was deeply afraid of the future because his family was very poor. He was too scared to focus on his lessons. But Rancho was completely different from everyone else. The very first night at the college dorms was very difficult. The older students, the seniors, were bullying the new freshman boys. It was a bad college tradition for the seniors to make the new boys take off their clothes and bow down to show respect. All the new students quietly followed this bad tradition because they were afraid. But Rancho refused to do it. He walked into his room, locked the door, and stayed inside. The leader of the bullies became very angry. He stood outside the door and threatened to teach Rancho a painful lesson. When Rancho did not open the door, the bully decided to pee right in front of the door. But Rancho was much smarter than the angry bully. Rancho took an electric wire, tied it to a metal spoon, and slowly pushed it under the bottom of the door. When the bully peed on the spoon, the liquid conducted the electricity, and the bully received a very loud, painful electric shock. All the other students began to laugh and cheer. They admired Rancho for his brilliant and creative mind. Farhan and Raju were both highly impressed and a little confused by Rancho's amazing personality. Soon after, we meet the leader of the college. His name is Director Viru, but all the students call him Virus behind his back because he is very strict and harsh. Virus believes that life is a fast race, and if you do not run fast, you will be destroyed. He thinks students must follow orders perfectly to find success. Virus hates wasting time more than anything else in the world. To save time every morning, he uses Velcro on his shirts instead of buttons, and his ties have simple hooks. Every year, Virus gives the exact same speech to the new students. He holds up a special expensive pen. He explains that it is a special astronaut pen. Scientists spent many years and millions of dollars to invent this pen so astronauts could write in space. Virus says his own teacher gave him this pen, and he promises to give it to an extraordinary student. But in 20 years, he has never found a student smart enough to receive it. No student has ever questioned his speech. But this time, Rancho stands up. He asks a very simple question. He asks why the astronauts did not just use a simple pencil instead of spending millions of dollars on a special pen. Virus is completely shocked. He cannot answer the question. He only says he will answer it later, and then he walks away. The college janitor, a young boy named Millimeter, loves Rancho's smart question. Rancho gives Millimeter some money to buy a school uniform. He tells the boy that if he wears a uniform, he can walk into any school and learn without anyone stopping him. Farhan thinks Rancho is wonderful, but Raju is worried that Rancho will cause too much trouble with the director. Rancho does not study like the other students. He does not want to be a puppet for the teachers. He asks deep questions, creates his own clever answers, and truly loves the science of engineering. However, the strict professors think his questions are just mischief, and they often throw him out of the classrooms. but Rancho does not mind. When he is thrown out of one room, he simply walks into another random classroom to listen to a different lesson. He is not in college just to get a piece of paper or a diploma. He is there to learn. There is only one other student in the college who thinks like Rancho. His name is Joy, and he is a senior in his final year. Joy has built a brilliant, innovative flying drone project. But Director Virus refuses to look at it because Joy is a few days late with his submission. Virus even calls Joy's father on the phone and tells him that his son will fail and will not graduate. Joy's father is a poor, hopeful man, and this news breaks his heart. Joy begs for a second chance, but Virus says no. Joy becomes completely hopeless and throws his drone project into the trash. Later, Rancho finds the broken drone. He sees that the machine is a work of genius and only needs a small amount of repair. For a whole week, Rancho works secretly to finish Joy's project. When the drone is finally ready, Rancho and his friends fly it up to Joy's window to surprise him. But when the camera on the drone looks inside the room, they see a terrible sight. Joy has ended his own life because of the immense pressure. They run to his room, but it is too late. During the sad funeral, Rancho stands in front of Director Virus. He tells the director that Joy did not just die, he was murdered by the heavy pressure of the college system. Virus is insulted and furious. The next day, Virus writes letters to the parents of Farhan and Raju, telling them that Rancho is a dangerous influence. The next day, Farhan's father calls the friends to his house. He tells Rancho to stay far away from his son. Rancho does not listen to the angry words. Instead, he looks closely at the beautiful photos of wild animals on the living room wall. Farhan admits that he loves wildlife photography, but he is studying engineering only to please his strict father. Rancho tries to talk to the father and change his mind, but the father refuses to listen. After that, the friends visit Raju's tiny house. They find that Raju's family lives in deep poverty. His father is very sick and cannot move from his bed, and his sister cannot get married because the family has no money for a wedding. Raju carries all this heavy responsibility on his shoulders, which is why he is always so terrified of failing. One evening, the three friends put on nice clothes and sneak into a grand wedding party just to eat the delicious free food. While eating, Rancho notices a beautiful young woman named Pia. Pia is actually Director Virus's daughter, but they do not know it yet. Pia is talking to her fiancé, a wealthy man named Suhas. Suhas talks only about money, expensive brands, and prices. Rancho can see that Suhas is a superficial man who does not truly love Pia. Rancho walks up to Pia and tells her his honest thoughts about her fiancé. To prove his point, Rancho pours mint sauce onto Suhas's expensive shoes. Right away, Suhas begins to scream about the high price of his shoes and yells loudly at the waiter. Pia is surprised by Rancho's strange action. Later, she checks the student records and learns that Rancho is a student at her father's college. Unfortunately for the three friends, the wedding they broke into was for Pia's older sister. Virus finds out about the free food and gets the three friends into massive trouble. Before the big exams, the rival student Chatur tries to ruin everyone's concentration. He slides adult magazines under the doors of the other students' rooms to distract them from studying. When Rancho discovers this trick, he decides to teach Chatur a lesson he will never forget. A few days later, Chatur is invited to give a formal speech in Hindi for an important college event with special guests. Chatur does not speak Hindi well, so he simply memorizes the words without understanding their meaning. Rancho sneaks into the computer room and changes a few important words in the speech text. He changes good words into funny and highly inappropriate words. On the day of the event, Chatur stands on the stage and proudly reads the altered speech. He unknowingly insults all the special guests and the director. Everyone in the audience is shocked and angry. After the event, Chatur is humiliated and filled with rage. He runs to the dorms and challenges Rancho. He writes the date of September 5th on the wall and bets that he will be richer and more successful than Rancho in 10 years. As time passes, Rancho bumps into Pia and Suhas outside a jewelry store. Suhas has just bought Pia an expensive watch. Rancho wants to show Pia the truth again, so he tells her to pretend she has lost the new watch. When Pia tells Suhas the watch is gone, Suhas loses his temper immediately and calls her an idiot. Pia finally sees his true nature, hands him the watch, and breaks up with him on the spot. Just then, Rancho receives a frantic phone call. Raju's father is having a dangerous medical emergency. Rancho and Pia rush to Raju's house, put the sick father onto Rancho's small scooter, and drive fast to the hospital. They save the man's life just in time. Raju is incredibly grateful to Rancho and feels sorry for doubting him. Pia also sees how kind and loving Rancho is, and she begins to fall deeply in love with him. When the results of the first semester exams are put on the wall, Farhan and Raju look at the bottom of the list. They find their names at the very end, but they are happy because they did not fail. Then, they look at the very top of the list. To their complete amazement, Rancho is the #1 student in the entire college. Chatur is #2, and Director Virus is completely miserable because the student he hates the most is the absolute best. The story moves back to the present day. Raju, Farhan, and Chatur arrive at the grand house in Shimla where they expect to find Rancho. But when they walk inside, they see people mourning. The house belongs to a wealthy family and the old father passed away that morning. They see a young man who looks important, but when they look at his face, he is a total stranger. He claims his name is Rancho, but he is not the friend they went to college with. Even the old college group photo looks different. The friends go to a nearby restaurant to think. Chatur talks about a brilliant scientist named Funsuk Wangdu, who is a genius inventor. Chatur wants to sign a $1 million business contract with this scientist next week. But Farhan and Raju do not care about the scientist. They go back to the house to demand answers from the fake Rancho. The man pulls out a gun to frighten them. Chatur runs away like a coward, but Farhan and Raju stay. They grab the urn containing the father's ashes and threaten to throw them down the toilet if he does not speak the truth. The man finally stops and tells them the incredible secret. He explains that he is the real, wealthy Rancho. The friend they knew in college was actually the son of their poor house gardener. The gardener's son was an incredibly smart boy named Chote. When they were children, Chote loved to learn and did all of the rich son's homework. When the wealthy father discovered this, he made a secret deal. He allowed the poor boy to go to the expensive engineering college using his son's rich name. The poor boy got the education he desired, and the rich son got a prestigious university degree without studying. The only condition was that Chote had to disappear after graduation and never contact anyone again. Farhan and Raju are amazed by this story. They get Chote's real address and immediately leave to find him. The flashback returns to their final college year. The students are nervous about the company job interviews. During a big meeting, Director Virus points at Farhan and Raju and tells everyone that these two will never get a job. He calls them losers. That night, the three friends get drunk together because they are sad and angry. While they are talking, Rancho reveals that Farhan has a secret letter from a famous wildlife photographer in his bag, but he is too afraid to mail it to his father. Rancho also calls Raju a coward because he wears too many religious rings for luck and fears the future. Raju and Farhan make a deal with Rancho. They promise that if Rancho goes to Pia's bedroom and confesses his love, they will change their lives too. They break into Virus's house at midnight. Rancho finds a woman sleeping under a blanket and whispers his love to her. But when the blanket moves, it is actually Pia's pregnant older sister, Mona. Pia is standing nearby, and both sisters are deeply touched by his sweet words. But Director Virus wakes up and sees them running away in the dark. The next morning, Raju is called into the director's office. Virus tells Raju that he is officially expelled from the college. Raju begs for his family's sake. But Virus says he can only stay if he blames Rancho for the midnight break-in. Raju is trapped between his best friend and his family's future. Feeling completely helpless, Raju jumps out of the high office window. He survives the fall, but his body becomes completely paralyzed. He cannot move or speak. Pia tells Farhan and Rancho that Raju can hear them, so they must talk about happy things to wake up his mind. For many days, Farhan and Rancho stay by his bed. They tell funny jokes, create happy fake news, and bring him joy. One day, Rancho tells a giant lie that Farhan is going to marry Raju's sister for free. Hearing this ridiculous lie, Raju suddenly speaks his first words and moves his hands. He is completely cured. On the day of the job interviews, Farhan receives a letter from the famous photographer who wants him as an assistant. Farhan goes home and has a long, emotional conversation with his father. He cries and explains that he will be miserable as an engineer but very happy as a photographer. His father finally understands and gives his blessing. Meanwhile, Raju walks into his job interview without his lucky rings. He tells the interviewers the complete truth about his bad grades and his suicide attempt. The managers are amazed by his incredible honesty and courage, and they offer him the job immediately. Director Virus is furious that the friends succeeded. He decides to create the hardest final exam paper in history so Raju will fail. Pia discovers her father's bad plan. She steals the office keys and gives them to Rancho and Farhan so they can copy the exam questions for Raju. The friends steal the paper, but when they give it to Raju, Raju throws it away because he wants to be honest. Just then, Virus catches them and expels all three of them on the spot. As they pack their bags in the heavy rain, Pia confronts her father. She reveals a dark secret. Her brother did not die in a train accident. He took his own life because Virus forced him to study engineering when he wanted to be a writer. Virus is left speechless and heartbroken. Suddenly, a storm causes a massive flood in the city. The electricity goes out and the roads are blocked. Inside the house, Pia's pregnant sister Mona goes into deep labor pains. There is no way to reach a hospital. Rancho, Farhan, and Raju hear the cries for help and run back inside. Pia connects with them through a computer webcam from her hospital. She tells Rancho to place Mona on a large table tennis table. The baby is stuck, and they need a special medical vacuum cup to pull the baby out safely. Since they do not have one, Rancho uses his brilliant engineering mind. He takes a simple bathroom plunger, attaches wires, and connects it to a car battery to create a makeshift medical device. With the help of the whole student dorm, they deliver the baby safely. The newborn boy does not cry at first, but when the students repeat Rancho's favorite positive phrase, "All is well," the baby kicks and cries loudly. Director Virus watches this miracle and starts to weep. He realizes that Rancho is a true genius who uses science to save lives, not just to pass tests. The director gives Rancho the famous astronaut pen and allows the friends to take their final exams. Rancho graduates as the top student, but during the celebration, he quietly gets into a taxi and vanishes into the night. Back in the present day, Farhan, Raju, and Chatur stop the car at a beautiful wedding. It is Pia's wedding to the materialistic Suhas. Raju sneaks inside, puts on the groom's traditional face veil, and sits next to Pia. When he reveals his face, Pia is shocked. Raju tells her that they have found the real location of their beloved friend, Rancho. Pia leaves her wedding instantly, and they all drive away together, leaving Suhas shouting in the dust. They finally arrive at a modern, beautiful outdoor school located next to a peaceful, bright blue lake in the mountains. This is the place where their long-lost friend lives. As they walk through the creative school grounds, they see children building amazing machines, remote-controlled aircraft, and clever inventions. They run into a young adult worker and realize it is Millimeter, the young janitor boy from their old college. He's now grown up, educated, and helping to run the school. Pia walks down to the edge of the water where the man they knew as Rancho is teaching a group of happy children. She walks up to him, slaps his face because she is happy and angry, and then kisses him deeply. Farhan and Raju run forward and playfully hit him for leaving them for 10 long years, but they embrace him with tears of joy. Chatter walks up to the group with a smug smile. He starts to mock Rancho for being a simple, poor school teacher in a small village. He laughs and says that a teacher's salary is nothing compared to his own millions of dollars. Chatter notices the famous astronaut pen in Rancho's pocket and snatches it away, claiming that a small teacher does not deserve it. He demands that Rancho sign a simple paper admitting that Chatter is the winner of the 10-year bet. Rancho calmly signs the document with a smile. Farhan and Raju look at the signature and laugh loudly. They ask Rancho what his real legal name is. Rancho smiles gently and says his real name is Funsuk Wangdu. Chatter freezes in total shock. His face turns completely pale. Funsuk Wangdu is the world-famous inventor and scientist with hundreds of patents. The exact man Chatter's company has been begging to sign a multi-million-dollar contract with for months. Rancho pulls out his mobile phone, calls Chatter's phone, and tells him that he will not sign the business contract if Chatter does not return his pen and show respect. Chatter immediately drops to his knees, returns the precious pen, and apologizes. The true friends laugh, cheer, and hug each other tightly by the beautiful lake. This wonderful story teaches us a beautiful lesson about our lives. True success does not come from memorizing books, chasing money, or running a race just to please other people. True success comes when you follow your true passion, learn with a clean heart, and take care of the people you love. When you study to gain knowledge and skill, Success will naturally follow you wherever you go. Keep practicing your English listening and speaking every single day with our channel, English Lift, and you will become a fluent, confident speaker very quickly. If you loved this story, please click the like button, subscribe to English Lift, and leave a comment below to tell us your favorite part of the story. See you in our next lesson.